This is a review of the Super 7 DX Deluxe Lionel figure sold at Target. It is a brand new toy sculpt of Lionel by the Super 7. The back of the packaging has this classic Thundercats artwork. This is the first artwork I ever saw of Thundercats before I even knew it was a cartoon. I bought a spiral notebook that had this cover. This is the front of the packaging. It has a close-up of the Lionel figure with the claw shield and a Sword of Omens. It comes with very limited accessories. Here's everything outside of the packaging. The claw shield on the new figure does not have a way to connect to the hip. Here are both figures in a side-by-side comparison. I have them in the Sword of Omens Sight Beyond Sight pose. The new figure, I can't get it in the exact same pose as the old one because as you can see, the articulation on the wrist there is on top, up and down, and on the new figure, it's on the side, from side to side. Had they had the same kind of articulation, I'd be able to put the new figure in the exact same pose, putting the sword in front of his face more. I like the overall sculpt of the new figure. The hair and the body is more cartoon accurate. I like the colors on the new figure as well, in the boot and in the costume. One con is that the new figure, the skin tone is too light. It should be a bit darker. Not as dark as the original figure, but darker than what it is. Another positive about the new figure is that engineering wise, they made the hands smaller so that they grip the Sword of Omens much better, as you can see here. And the older figure, the hands are too big and loose and it doesn't grip it. It just sits on it. You can move it up and down like that. It has no grip effect. The claw shield on the new figure is smaller and more proportionate to the body. As you can see, the old figure, the claw seems too big and clunky. Another thing, Super 7 needs to make a claw shield that you can put the sword in it while it's on the arm. The body proportions on the older figure are larger than the newer one. As you can see, the chest, shoulder, and bicep are much larger on the old figure. On the newer figure, the chest, shoulder, and bicep are much smaller. I think the Thundercats logo on the belt is better and more prominent on the newer figure. On the older figure, it seems smaller and the little circles on the side are not as noticeable. On the new one, you can see it's spaced out well. Here are all figures from the side. The red Lionel does not have the pins. The blue one does, and the new one doesn't. But I like the contour of the joints better on the red Lionel. You see how smooth it is in the knees and in the elbows. The new figure has gaps at those joints in the elbows and the knees. It seems a bit clunky. It doesn't have that seamlessness like the red figure does. Comparing the Sword of Omens, the old figure has paint on it and the new one does not. So that's a minus for the new figure. The new claw shield has a better paint scheme and is smaller. It is also better engineered. It does not have a peg in it. It relies on friction, putting it on the wrist of the new figure. The old claw shield has that peg that you need to stick in the bottom of the arm. A negative of the new figure, as you can see, is this gap when the head is turned to the side. The old figure does not have that problem. That seems to be an issue with the new figure, is the gaps in the joints and the limited articulation. The arms are shorter and in better proportion with the new figure as compared to the older version. As a consumer, I think it's ridiculous that I bought this figure just for the extra head sculpt with the sculpted eyes. I have the light up eyes figure on pre-order. Why doesn't that figure come with this extra head sculpt? The original figure with the light up eyes gimmick had sculpted eyes. Granted, the more expensive figure for $65 has more accessories and they're painted. That doesn't justify the $30 price difference between the figures. Will the LED version have a darker skin tone paint applications, as seems to be the case in this photo? Will it also be a better articulated figure? Is the cheaper $35 deluxe figure the same figure just without the light up gimmick? Or is it an inferior figure in paint applications, accessories, and articulation compared to the more expensive Light Up Eyes figure. Well, that's my review and thoughts on the new Lionel figure. I like the figure, but I don't like the business practices of Super 7.